So we're going to talk about objectives and career summaries. They go up at the top. They're the prime real estate spot, and you want to make sure you select the correct one. So here we have two resumes. One that has the objective up top, and this is what we're used to seeing because we were just kind of always taught have an objective on the top of your resume. And then the other has a career summary. Now the career summary is really cool because it immediately highlights you. Yay! Like right away at the top of your resume, you have some things hooking and grabbing that reader in. Whereas an objective really doesn't do that. But sometimes you need an objective. And if you're going to have one, you're going to want to make sure you have a clear, specific one. So let's take a look at this example objective here. So here in this employee's resume, his objective says that he's seeking an entry-level position at various hotels and that he's willing to work in convention sales, public relations, and promotion. He's willing to travel, and then eventually he wants the hotel management position. So let's go ahead and zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so as you look at this objective, you'll note that this objective is more specific than ones we've seen before. He's stating exactly, all right, right now I'm looking for that entry-level position. Here are all the areas of the job I'm willing to do and willing to work with to eventually get to my end goal. This objective has a purpose. Okay, but oftentimes the objectives don't even have a purpose at all. We're just told to have one. For example, with my resume, that was my objective. Honestly, that's what I wrote. I had written, obtain a teaching position in English, theater, or speech, utilizing my strong skills to lead, communicate, and teach a community of learners. What was the point of that? I can just imagine the prospective employers reading my resume and going, really? She wants to be an English teacher? Oh, that's why she applied for our open English teaching position. See what I'm saying? There was no point to that objective. That objective showed them nothing, told them nothing about me, and was a waste of space. So instead, I should have used a career summary that looks like this. These career summaries can act like mini cover letters. Right up at the top, you're hooking the reader in, you're getting their attention because right away, you're stating reasons why you would be good for the job. Very top, I've listed that a former principal named me the best English teacher she's ever seen. I talked about how I affected student performance. I talked about how I motivated students. All right there at the very top, I've shown why I'm a good teacher and why they should consider me for the job. Right away, right in their top. It's like when you write an essay and you want to hook that reader in. So it's better to use a career summary than an objective. However, there are times when you need an objective. For example, you would need an objective, if you are posting your resume on a job forum site like LinkedIn or other sort of websites where you need to make it clear exactly what kind of position you're looking for because they don't know. Another reason is if you've applied to a company that's advertised several opening positions and you need to make it clear which one you're applying for. And last is if you haven't necessarily applied for a specific job, but you're giving your resume to a company whom they don't necessarily have current openings right now, but you want them to keep you in mind and you want to let them know exactly what it is you're applying for. So if you need to make it clear, this is the position I'm applying for and these are my goals, then go ahead, you need an objective. But if you don't need an objective, then don't waste space. So if you don't meet these three reasons, then you're going to probably want to write a career summary. I'm now going to give you tips on how to write a good career summary and how to write a good objective depending on what you need. So if you choose to write an objective, you need to make sure that you have a strong, well-written objective. So let's talk about, first of all, the function to make sure that you meet all the requirements here. Your objective tells a prospective employer the type of work you are interested in. Since this doesn't do a lot to market yourself, make sure this is short and concise so you leave more room on your resume to sell yourself. Your objective should make it clear what type of job you hope to obtain. For example, what industry you want to work in, the type of work you want to do, and the skills you want to utilize. So now that we know the function, let's talk about some tips to writing the objective. Never just state that you want to use your skills. You need to specify the skills. State a specific position rather than a generic department or category. Like, don't say, I want a job related to business. That's too generic. So here we have a very specific job, a web development management position. Okay, they've listed a specific job, and then they've listed specific skills they want to utilize. Public speaking, leadership, computer programming. So this objective is specific and it's narrowed, and it tells the prospective employer, here's what I want to do, and here's why I'll be good at it, because I have these skills. If you are seeking an internship or summer position only, or something not permanent, then make sure you state that in your objective. And if you have several different objectives, create more than one version of your resume. Each version of your resume can be slightly different to support the new objective. If you are taking your resume to a job fair with lots of employers or posting online, you can have a broader objective, stating 2 or 3 related interests. But do not be vague, you still need to be specific. For example, you can say looking for a job as a workshop presenter or tutor. You've got 2 specific things. They're related a little bit, but they're different interests. But it's not, so I've got 2 or 3 related interests, but I'm not being vague at all. So now we're going to talk about writing the career summary if you choose to have one of those rather than an objective. So again, we'll begin with the function because it helps to write a career summary well if you know what the purpose is. Describe who you are at this moment in time. List your accomplishments. Obviously, you're going to expand on those in the experience section below, but you can touch on them here. And list skills that you possess. In essence, with your career summary, basically what you are doing is you should explain the value you will offer this prospective employer. This is where reading the mission statement comes in. You can change your career summary for each specific job you send in a resume to. So if I'm sending a resume to this one company, I look up their mission statement, I see that they really are looking for people who can bring in new ideas, then I will highlight that in my career summary. Versus, this other company that's really looking for people that is a team, who is a team player and will work with the ideas already there. So it just depends on what they're looking for and what you can highlight in your career summary. Okay, so there's different ways to format this career summary. You can put it in a paragraph, like this one. Excuse me. Sorry. However, even with this being in a paragraph, you'll notice that they aren't complete sentences. They are sentences that begin with our action verbs that we talked about in the general tips section. So it's still written in resume style, beginning with action verbs and not a complete sentence. It's just structured to look like a paragraph. Now, another idea is to list them into a bulleted list form like this one. So it puts it into a bulleted list. For each of those bulleted list items, I've kind of listed what each one talked about. Like the first bullet talked about their relevant experience. Second bullet talked about their job qualifications. Then they talked about their achievements, and then they listed some personality traits. And those are some great things to include in your career summary. So that's kind of how they divvied up the bullets here. One bullet about each kind of topic within their career summary. And then the last one is you can have a title with a paragraph underneath. For example, here they have a title, and this kind of acts like a mini objective right before their career summary. This title kind of lists what position they're looking for. And then they've got this little subtitle here that says what they're going to do for the company. I'm going to increase your bottom line. That's awesome. They're telling you what they're going to offer, and then down below they've listed their accomplishments as proof that they can offer that. Now for tips, there are just some questions that you might want to think about to help you write this section. Why should the employer care about you? Who are you as a person? Who are you as an employee? What is your value to the company? What is your current position and main focus? How can you show your enthusiasm and love for what you do? What are the main things you have accomplished throughout your career? Yes, these things can be expanded on further down below, but we talked about how this top part is prime real estate, so you want to get those things in there. Check out the supplement material section for this lecture, as you will see these slideshows there, as well as examples of well-written objectives and well-written career summaries. So if you need some further examples to give you ideas, please check that out in the supplement material.